What's going on, everyone? Today I have a new video of utter excitement because I finally got two more magazines that help me finish a collection. First of all, I want to start off with this one here. I am now one magazine away from getting everything from 1982 to 2000 for the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines. I still need the Kerry Von Erich with the NWA World title, but I now have this one. Let me get this down here a bit so we can see better. The Pro Wrestling Illustrated, here we go, Great American Bash, 85, that is? Yes, 85. So I was missing this magazine for quite some time, and it never showed up anywhere, but it finally showed up on the Canadian eBay. It was, I think I paid $30 for it. I mean, at that moment, so for me, when it comes down to certain situations where you know this is going to, it's at the end of the collection where you're like, well, I only need a few more, I will pay the overprice pay at times that some of these magazines go for. If I was starting out collecting, this probably wouldn't even be on my radar, this magazine, just because when I first started doing this, it was all about getting the magazines I had as a kid or a teenager, or getting the magazines I always wanted to have as a kid or a teenager. And then when I bought these lots a few years ago and got everything coming in, it, started to just roll into just me getting as much as I could. So now this is added to the collection. Now another magazine added to the collection, which again, I paid $52.99 for, plus an additional 25 shipping or 20 shipping. It was something like that. I think it was 20 shipping. It was worth it though, because it's the first ever Superstars that the WWF magazine ever put out. So this is that catalog of magazines for the WWF that showed the individual wrestler or tag teams or managers talking about them, showcasing them. So this is the first one. It's based after WrestleMania 2. And that picture of Hogan gets used a lot, I've noticed, for things. But there it is, a sweet Hogan picture. You got the JYD in here. You got Ricky Steamboat. They even go into the villains, the heels, like Roddy Piper. Or I guess, was Piper a good guy here? Piper must be a good guy because he's in, unless it goes, yeah, Piper's still a good guy. So this must be going into WrestleMania 3. Or, after 2 going into 3. Yeah, so Andre's still a good guy here. So Piper, when did Piper turn face? In the summer of 86, I believe. So this clearly was after that and before WrestleMania 3. So Bundy as the villain. And, of course, there's Mr. Wonderful. Look at that pile driver. Huh. And then you get into, if I get to it here, the tag teams, like the Killer Bees. You get into managers. There's Mr. Fuji. So that's what it is. And look how good that magazine is. Like, look at this. This is like, there's really no issues here with this at all. It's going to get bagged and boarded, of course, because it's the first issue. I just haven't done it yet. So that's pretty exciting. And of course, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine that I picked up as well. So also, while I'm talking about this, a little bit of discussion here about quality over quantity. I was on the fence before about things. Magazines like this, from 1983, 82, 80, both of those are 80s. A lot of those magazines I have no real interest in, which is weird to say, right? And weird to think because I collect magazines. But the problem is with that, I didn't watch wrestling then. I was too young. I was born November of 1980. So my first real memory of any wrestling stuff was probably 1985, 86, just to remember. I did not see the territories back then living in Canada. I don't even know if a lot of those territory wrestling places were even on television for Canada. I knew the WWF was. That was everywhere. And I saw that all the time when I was younger. I don't remember seeing NWA until probably maybe late 87, early 88. My first real memory that I can remember is Barry Windham turning on Lex Luger and joining the Horsemen. And that was in April of 1988. I remember watching it. It was a Saturday afternoon. I remember watching it in my living room, and I couldn't believe that Barry turned. But I also remember that Barry Windham was a good guy, and so was Lex. So I must have been watching the NWA a little bit before that, but that was my first real memory burn. Stuff from this era is not a memory burn for me, right? Like I never saw a Bruno match until a WWF Coliseum video, and then it was probably Bruno against Randy Savage from 1987 when they were doing the lumberjack matches. So that was Bruno past his prime. That was Bruno retired and coming back, retired, coming back sort of thing, right? Ivan Putski, I remember seeing him in the WWF, but that was again 1985, 86 when he was all roided up and looked like, and he was kind of going bald then, right? He had the receding hairline and he didn't have the beard. So a lot of my memories are definitely not of this era. So I was thinking, do I try to sell those and turn that money into money for other magazines, other wrestling magazines? I don't know. Because I was looking on eBay, I'm looking at stuff that's selling. A lot of these magazines are up on eBay, but they're priced so ridiculously high. Now, the pricing of it, I don't care. I could let these go for $5 each. I don't care. Because technically I don't really want them anymore. So $5 each is still $5 extra in my pocket. The problem is I can't do that on eBay because eBay takes a bit of that. So technically I'd probably be only getting $3. So my other option is to sell it online through Marketplace, on Facebook, or Kijiji, which is Canada's version, I guess, of Craigslist or something, right? It's a free website you can post stuff on and sell. The problem with that is that a lot of people don't use those sites anymore, like Kijiji. They do, but they don't. Like, stuff gets put up there, but I don't think anything really gets bought off there anymore. It's like a last resort. And even so, people are kind of like, I don't know, skeptical maybe to buy, because eBay is easier to buy because if you get taken, you get had, eBay will reimburse you the money. You don't get that when you're buying blindly off another website with someone. You're putting a face value trust that they're going to send you the item that you are buying. I know many times I bought like that because I had to and thought, oh man, what if I get ripped off? I mean, it has happened before in the past to people. It's happened to me with VHS tapes back in the day with tape trading. You send your tapes out and you don't get the tapes back in return, and some asshole gets free tapes without doing their job of sending back what you asked for in return. So it's a gamble. But like I said, I have a stack here of old wrestling magazines from 81, 82, 83, and a lot of this stuff I don't remember seeing, like this, right? Like this is Pedro Morales' claim the WWF is out of control, and I couldn't even tell you who that is with Pedro on the cover. So it's just a situation now. Do I want to go through and sell these? Do I want to take the time and effort to do it? Because it is time and effort to do that. And you have to be patient as well. And I'm not a patient person. For example, Metallica Load box set is coming out this Friday. It's at $400 on Amazon. I know probably in a few months it will be half of that, or a little over half. I just bought the Black Album box set for $260, I think it was $264, $268 like 2 months ago or so. It wasn't that when it first came out. I can guarantee that. I'm sure it was much more, just like this Load box set is. So, but I have to learn to wait and be patient. I'm not good with that. That's just something I'm not good with. I never have been. So it's like when I buy something off eBay, I'm thinking, why isn't it here in 5 minutes? But you have to wait. So it's a you have to wait it out to sell some of this stuff too at times. And then what price do I put it at? Do I want to try selling on eBay? And if I do sell it on eBay, I can't be like those people who are saying $29.99 a magazine, because unless you're a hardcore collector, it's probably not going to sell at that. And even if you are a hardcore collector, you probably don't want to pay that price anymore, because you were just getting these magazines a few years ago for half that. So it's just a real gamble. I don't want to shortchange myself either and sell these magazines and have eBay take a cut and then I lose out. And then, I don't want to put it in a lot, because you put it in a lot, you kind of have to give it at a good deal so they can go. So if technically you're probably selling them for less than you would be on their own, it's a gamble. That's what it comes down to. It's a gamble. But I do want quality over quantity. I am running out of room. It would be nice just to have the eras that I love the most. And I'm thinking that would be from when Hogan won the championship in '84 until 2000 for the after mags. I do have some that are after that, because let's be honest, I have stuff like this, Daniel Bryan, but I was also watching wrestling here too, so that's not that bad. I'm familiar with the 2013 year. I'm not familiar with the 1981 year. So it's something I need to think about, something I need to put some thought in. I have the next few days off, and the girlfriend's going to be at work all those days because she has to work this weekend and I don't. So I look at this as my weekend of figuring things out in here and trying to decide what I want to do. It's, I know I'm going to continue buying new magazines because John Cena on the cover of the Pro Wrestling Illustrated comes out. It's already out, but I think it will be in Walmart today or tomorrow to buy. So I'll probably go over this weekend and pick it up and add it to the collection. And it's because I know that era. I watched this year's WrestleMania, so I'm familiar with it. I didn't watch this match here from 1981 with Pedro Morales and, man, I really don't know who that is. So, decisions, right? Decisions. Even if I had the room, I don't think I'd want everything, though, because I don't know. It's like if I'm not familiar with it, I don't care. And I know it's weird to say, but it's true. If I'm not familiar with something, I don't care. The injury that cost Tony Atlas the NWA title. My only memory of Tony Atlas was originally, my first memory of Tony Atlas was IWCCW, reading about him in the wrestling magazines. And then he came to the WWF as Saba Simba. And it wasn't until I rented old WWF Coliseum videos where I saw Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson win the tag titles from the Wild Samoans. So, I remember seeing Tony Atlas in WCW in 1992 and early 93. So, this era of Tony Atlas, I'm not familiar with. So again, it's going to be like, do I go through and want to get rid of these? Like this one here. This is June 81. It's got Killer Khan and Pedro Morales again on the cover. Does the Intercontinental title mean too much to Pedro Morales? The only memories I have of Pedro with the Intercontinental title are when I rented the WWF History of the Intercontinental title. That was a Coliseum video years ago, and it showed a lot of Pedro versus Magnificent Morocco matches on it. So, I don't know. Rhodes versus DiBiase. Honor is more important than the NWA belt from November 81. Again, with Ted DiBiase, the only memories that I have of him are from the $1 Million Man era. I did not watch the UWF as a kid. I did not watch Mid-South Wrestling as a kid. I did not watch Georgia Championship Wrestling as a kid. I did, however, see those events, like those shows years later, like off the WWE Network. And by then, though, I don't have like a nostalgic memory to it. It's just, oh yeah, so there it is. There's Ted in the UW or in Mid-South, right? There's Ted doing the Rat Pack with Duggan and Matt Bourne. Okay, I finally got to see it. So again, it's tough. It's tough. Bob Backlund versus Magnificent Morocco. Again, I didn't see those matches. January 82. So January 82, this would technically be from like probably fall of 81, since these magazines were always dated earlier than what was happening. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be an interesting few days to figure out what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to start today. I'm not doing a lot. I think I might throw on some music and do so. Like I said, I got the Metallica Black Album box set. It comes with lots of CDs. It comes with 4 vinyl records and like a shit ton of CDs. And the CDs are live concerts that they did in like 1991. And I'm a huge Metallica fan, so I might throw a CD on, let it play through, so I can say, hey, look, I listened to that. And then maybe sort this out today. Something to do. All right, guys. Thanks for watching me rant and ramble about what I'm going to do about this. Again, though, let me just go back to here and show you the 2 exciting magazines I now have in my collection. WWF Superstars, the first one. That means now I'm only missing volume 6. WWF Superstars 6. Ironically, Hulk Hogan is on the cover of that one as well. Hopefully it shows up on the Canadian eBay and I'll snag it, and then I'll have them all. I'll have 1 through 8. Plus the New Generation book that came out, which was technically, I guess, supposed to be Volume 9. They just called it New Generation Volume 1 or something. But it does go in that same category of magazine. And, of course, the Pro Wrestling Illustrated, December 1985, highlighting the Great American Bash. And maybe, just maybe, because of that, I will go out and find the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Great American Bash 85 VHS tape. I know it exists because I rented it when I was, I rented it when I was in my early 20s. That's when I rented that at a video store. So I will definitely, I should look into getting that to go with my PWI stuff. And I'm sure, I don't think it'd be too much money, but then again, with eBay, you never know anymore, right? All right, guys, until I do my next one, I'll talk to you later.